There was a very revealing moment in the interview that Fox did with Donald Trump over the weekend. This was meant to be a propaganda piece following Trump's criminal convictions, but Trump couldn't even handle that correctly. As a result, Fox had to heavily edit and cut portions of it. At one point, Trump was asked what files he would want to declassify if he were ever to return to the White House. Note, I say disgrace the White House, not Fox. Trump was asked if he would declassify the Epstein files. I want to show you Trump's full response to this question and the utter fear and panic in his face.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
When I saw these clips circulating online, I initially missed this part. I didn't notice the fear and panic in Trump's face or how he hedged his answer. He suggested not declassifying the Epstein files because a lot of the allegations against Epstein are fake. No, they're not. After Epstein was found guilty and Ghislaine Maxwell was also convicted, it's absurd and offensive for Trump to claim the allegations were fake. Trump is terrified because he was close friends with Epstein, raising serious questions about Trump's involvement with Epstein that corporate media avoids, but we discuss here. Now, let me show you what right-wing influencers posted. They edited the already heavily edited Fox interview to remove Trump's hesitant response about the Epstein files and his panicked expression. Here's an account called ALX, a right-wing propaganda outlet.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Notice that the critical part of Trump's response was cut out. Trump was very close with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. He had the opportunity to declassify the Epstein files while in office, but didn't. Similarly, Trump now claims he wants to pardon people he didn't pardon while he was in office. He only pardoned those he believed would directly benefit him or help cover up his crimes. I remember when Trump wished Ghislaine Maxwell well during her criminal trial for trafficking on behalf of Epstein. This is what Trump said at a press conference while he was in office.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Donald Trump has a long history with Ghislaine Maxwell. An article from the Sunday Mirror in the UK from November 1997 discusses Trump and Ghislaine. It mentions that just weeks after divorcing his second wife, America's best-known billionaire, Donald Trump, fell under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. Trump, then 50, met London model Inesca Di Giorgia at a Manhattan party. Several American millionaires were interested in her, but she was there with Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, who introduced several of her attractive friends to Trump. The article suggests that Ghislaine introduced young women to Trump. None of his rivals owned a vast mansion in Florida like Trump's Mar-a-Lago. The article describes how Trump, Ghislaine, and the model flew to Florida for a weekend before returning to New York, where Trump installed Inesca in one of his apartments. Contemporaneous flight logs of Epstein show Trump's name repeatedly, at least 6 to 8 times. Trump brought his children around Epstein, partied with him in West Palm Beach, and had his employees work for Epstein, who then exploited them. One clear example is Virginia Giuffre, who worked at Mar-a-Lago. Here's her story from the BBC. Virginia Giuffre, known for accusing Prince Andrew, was in and out of foster care and on the streets by age 14. In 2000, while trying to rebuild her life, she met Ghislaine Maxwell while working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. Maxwell offered her an interview to train as a massage therapist. Virginia recalled telling her dad, who worked at Mar-a-Lago, about the opportunity. When she arrived at Epstein's home, he was lying naked and she was instructed on how to massage him. They partied together in West Palm Beach. And then Donald Trump would have his employees work for Epstein, and then Epstein would turn them into people who he would traffic. So Trump would send his employees to Epstein. Epstein would then turn them into his victims. And one of the clearest examples of that is Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago. And just let me show you the story about Virginia Giuffre. Just so you know, this is from the BBC. Virginia Giuffre, what we know about Prince Andrew's accuser. It says later in her childhood she was in and out of foster care. And by the age of 14, she was living on the streets where she says she found nothing except for hunger and pain and more abuse. It was in the year 2000, while attempting to rebuild her life, that she met British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell. Miss Giuffre was working as a locker room attendant at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach and says Maxwell offered her an interview for the chance to train as a massage therapist. I ran over to my dad, who works on the tennis courts at Mar-a-Lago, and he knows I'm trying to fix up my life at that point, which is why he got me the job there. I said, "You're not going to believe it, Dad," she recalled. And then when Miss Giuffre arrived in Epstein's home in Palm Beach, she says he was lying down naked and she was instructed on how to massage him. She started at Mar-a-Lago, then she worked her way over there. In 2002, Donald Trump told the New York Magazine that he thought Epstein was a terrific guy and noted his penchant for pursuing women on the younger side. Quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy," Mr. Trump told the magazine. "He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them on the younger side." New York Magazine also reported remembering the time Jeffrey Epstein wrote on Donald Trump's plane. They did board with a young woman of indeterminate age. I wouldn't be able to tell you if she was 15 or 20. She was quite dressed up and quite made up, so it was hard to tell. Also, in and around this time period, in the 90s, as early as 1991, here's an article that was written recently by The Guardian. They talk about this September 1991 cruise that Donald Trump held, where it was teenage girls in evening dresses and mini skirts. Some as young as 14 danced under disco lights. It could have been a high school prom or not for the crowd of older men surrounding them. And as the evening wore on, some of the men, many old enough to be the girls' fathers or even grandfathers, joined them on the dance floor, pressing themselves against the girls. One bald man in a suit wrapped his arms around two young models called young girls. Leering into a film camera that was documented the evening, "Can you get some beautiful women around me?" And this party was aboard the Spirit of New York, was an event that Donald Trump, who was 45 years old at the time, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models. In other words, young girls who were around the age of 14 or younger, or just in that general age range. By the way, Donald Trump recently posted on his social media a video that had the photograph of him with these 14-year-old girls. By the way, he posted that recently to his MAGA base. So clearly there were all of these links right here. Clearly Donald Trump has the opportunity to release the Epstein files. If he wanted to release the files, you see the sheer panic on his face. Oh, by the way, you want to just see the report on Virginia Giuffre? Here's just a short clip of regarding her lawsuit against Prince Andrews here.
We're back now with a major development in a sex abuse scandal that's been rocking the royals. Prince Andrew, hours ago, agreed to a settlement with Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre. This is all according to a new court filing. Giuffre alleged in her lawsuit that Epstein trafficked her and forced her to have sex with his friends, including Prince Andrew, who is Queen Elizabeth's second son. Giuffre claimed Andrew knew she was just 17 when he sexually abused her on multiple occasions in different locations. CNN royal correspondent Max Foster is with us now. And also joining us, former Los Angeles criminal prosecutor Lonnie Coombs, who's also prosecuted all kinds of crime, from murder to celebrity stalkers to sex crimes. It's so great to have both of you here. Max, just about a week ago, you were reporting the prince had agreed to sit for a deposition. It looked like this was headed to a trial. What changed?
Who knows what the conversations were behind the scenes, but if this had carried on to trial and Prince Andrew had sat down and given a deposition, it would have just brought out more and more embarrassing revelations about his life. It would embarrass the royal family. He seemed pretty determined to carry on with it. I think probably the monarchy would prefer that he reach some sort of settlement. He's got that settlement. Virginia Giuffre wasn't giving any indication either that she was interested in a settlement. So we'll wait to hear from both sides some more detail about why they agreed to this.
In addition to all of this, Donald Trump's name appears in the deposition transcripts of witnesses in the Epstein case. For example, a woman who was trafficked said they were on Epstein's plane when the pilot informed them they couldn't land in New York and would have to go to Atlantic City. Epstein said, "Great, we'll call Trump and go to one of his casinos." Let me play this clip of Trump talking about running the Miss Teen USA competitions, where he would inspect the naked teenage girls, saying he had the right to do so as the owner. Here's Trump in his own words.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything is
a doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women.
Here's another clip from the Howard Stern Show where Trump talks about Lindsay Lohan when she was either 17 or just turning 18.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan, Howard?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
Right.
you imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women,
Yes.
deeply troubled,
Right.
they're always the best in bed? If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable. I can tell from the... You don't want to be with them for the long term.
The media needs to hold Trump accountable for this behavior. They gave him a pass in 2016 and 2020, and it seems they want to do the same in 2024. When asked about declassifying files, his face shows complete panic. This behavior shouldn't be a taboo topic. Trump's actions need to be called out for what they are: sickening and disgusting. He's a convicted felon, a sexual abuser as adjudicated by a jury, and found liable for civil fraud. Yet he continues to get a pass. This pattern of behavior needs to be highlighted and called out. I hope you share these videos and show people the evidence. Hit subscribe. Thanks for your support.